I bit my lip. Hard. Right here. Yeah. Is it still bleeding? I was chewing a walnut. Took me ages to crack the shell. Had to use the back of a knife in the end. One of those machete things. Yeah, one of those. And the really funny thing was, I thought to myself, careful Lydia, careful. You don't want to hit yourself in the face with one of those machete things. You don't want to split your face open, smash your skull. So I was being really, really careful. Hold the handle tightly, bash at the shell, crack it in half, pull it apart and look. See inside that beautiful walnut? Like a teeny tiny brain. And they're good for you, right? They're good for your skin, your hair. They're organic. Not like the ones from the supermarket already shelled. These were the real thing. The real thing. So I'm thinking about this. How healthy they are, how good I'm being, eating walnuts and not something fatty or unhealthy like say a Pluto pup or say fried cheese on a stick. And I think Carol would be proud of me. She would. She'd say, good on you, Lydia. Good on you, doing something good for yourself for once. It's about time. It's about time. Well, Carol used to say, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. What do you call that when someone says something all the time, like a mantra or a catchphrase? Carol was full of them. I used to get the shit sometimes. You can imagine Big Sister Carol in my ear night and day. Lydia, have you been using my hairbrush? Lydia, have you put the bins out? Lydia, have you bothered to wash up yet? Lydia, stop snivelling and mop the kitchen floor. Clean the bath, dust the hallway, put out the washing. Iron Daryl's shirt. He's got a job interview on Tuesday and he has to look really schmicko. He's competing with all the smart-ass kids from the uni. If he doesn't get this job, Lydia, it's your fault. It's your fault, Lydia. It's all your fault. You never care about things like ironing and it makes all the difference. If I've said it once, I'll say it again. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. Do you hear me, Lydia? Are you ignoring me? Lydia? 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 My breathing exercises. I'm meant to do them every day, anytime I get that feeling. Doc said I need to breathe heavily through my nose and sort of make my lips into a sort of tube and puff the air out. Like that. I do it a few times and the feeling just goes away. Breathe in. To be honest, I've been getting that feeling a lot. I've had that feeling a lot and it makes me go, it makes me feel, well, not pleasant, not, what did Carol call it? Civilized, that's it. I told her not to tell Daryl, but she did, of course. Oh, well, she loves him, see, so she tells him anything. Everything. Daryl said, "It's fucking creepy. You should be locked up with the rest of the crazies. You're just like your mum. She had to go into care and you're just like her. People say my hands are mum's hands. Same crooked little finger like mum. Carol's hands are more like dad's. Sensible hands, practical hands. Well, that's what people say anyway. Although, I don't really remember Dad's hands after that day. Mum said he had to go interstate for work. Carol said she didn't blame him, a Maddie like Mum. He just couldn't stand it anymore. It's terrible when you can't stand things. But if you can stand things, then you do. And you just say, yes, Daryl, and okay, Daryl, and would you like another beer, Daryl? One day you might be sitting at the kitchen table, helping Carol make Daryl's birthday cake, sieving the flour and sorting out the cinnamon. And it's going to be a nice one, Carol tells me, because it's a milestone birthday. A milestone birthday. Well, I make a little joke to Carol. I say, lucky it's not a tombstone birthday. Get it? A tombstone birthday. Well, Carol laughs, and she doesn't laugh much these days, I've noticed, and she sort of makes this high-pitched wheeze sort of sound, and she turns around, and I just know, I know, it's him come in the kitchen, standing there watching her, silent. She's scared of him. She loves him, but she's scared of him. And I hate him. But I'm scared of him too. We both go quiet. And I'm staring down at the table. And he grabs her arm, makes her scream. And I say, don't, Daryl, don't! And he says, shut the fuck up! The feeling in my chest and my throat and my head, and it's moving through me, and I'm breathing in and puffing out, and he shouts at me, I told you to shut up, and he pushes my head down on the table. For a moment, I just lie there smelling the spices, breathing in all the ingredients, the cinnamon and the flour, and the organic walnuts Carol bought. Carol pulls him off me. He calls her a very bad word, and I hear a thump, and I hear her make a tiny scream. I take a peek. I see he's got his back to me. He's hurting Carol. She's crying, and I feel around with one hand, Mum's hand, for something. I feel the eggs and the wooden spoon and then the organic walnuts waiting to be shelled. But that's the problem with the real thing. You have to crack them open. You have to smash them apart. Split their shells. And all we had was a machete. And they do make a mess. Machetes and walnuts, but it's worth it. It's always worth it. If I've said it once, I'll say it again. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. Although, I probably didn't need to do Carol too. Daryl was probably enough. I'd say Daryl was self-defense and Carol was Mum's hand. Is my lip still bleeding?